Welcome to the TikTok Famous Podcast. I am your host, Meredith Willits, and today I am so excited to have Evan Lazarus on, or as I like to call him, the bane of Bethenny Frankel's existence. So stay with me.
You're listening to the TikTok Famous Podcast, where viral fame meets raw reality. Join your host, Meredith Willits, as she dives deep with your favorite creators to uncover the real stories behind the scroll, the highs, the lows, the algorithm chaos, and everything in between. This is not your average interview. This is the TikTok Famous Podcast.
Thank you so much for being
blown
here.
away by that voice. I took a video of the intro. It was so amazing.
I was watching you. I'm like, okay, as long as he posts about it, I don't care. And let me tell you what, I did message or comment on Bethenny, one of her videos, and said, come on, we can have it be the three of us. And of course I didn't hear anything back, which I have invited her on this show and she declined. I guess I'm not big enough yet, but that's okay. It will be. So thank you so much for being on here, because you're way more than Bethenny Frankel's stone in her shoe. You're a lot more than that, and I'm excited to get into all of it.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be on today. It's such a pleasure. I never thought about myself as TikTok famous until someone asked me to be on a TikTok famous podcast. It's beautiful.
Well, I love that you're here. So we're in a weird conundrum, and I was thinking about this all morning. I had an event today that I had to go to, and I'm like, all right, like, you're dry humor, you're a comedian. Let's just start with the fact that you are a comedian. And I think that that's lost on some of the people that you're punking or
Right.
trolling or whatever. I think they just think that you're a guy who's watching videos and doing commentary on it. And this is way more layered than that.
I agree. I think people think I'm a megalomaniac. Like, I truly am just like, have such a out for Bethenny Frankel. Like, she scorned my family, killed the firstborn. She's after me. But ultimately, it's kind of just something I tried experimentally. I've just made like a slew of different kinds of content, and people really started to were entertained by it. And I've started to look at it somewhat like they do in a Daily Show, right? Where they take everyday headlines and they crunch them down into a punchline or two. And I am doing a similar thing for Bethenny Frankel's content. It's how I like to see myself.
Well, can we talk about the fact, and I'm just going to kind of quote the end of it. She said, I saw someone that died of cancer this morning. It was very bizarre clapback. She said, it makes me sad that your identity is me. I hope you find happiness that doesn't involve fixating on me. Can we talk about the fact? Okay, first of all, love her or hate her, she's a moment, right? She's a whole moment. You just made a video the other day about Ramona Singer. She is a whole moment unto herself, right? These are women that are moments unto themselves. But can we talk about the fact that her entire page is fixating on other people?
Right, absolutely. It's a weird double standard, isn't it?
It's her whole content is fixating on brands and chicken and family businesses and what Meghan Markle is doing. You are literally making content all day long, Bethenny, about other people's shit, other people's products. And that is what we're doing here. We're talking about ourselves. We're talking about politics. We're talking about religion. We're talking about other people that are doing weird shit on the planet and commentating about it. It's or commenting about it or whatever. It's like when people like, I make a video like or whatever, and they're like, well, that's your experience. I'm like, that's social media.
It's a very interesting double standard, I think. Well, you think that you would understand that the like you were saying, the cultural internet is like commenting on others, on products. Like, that is truly the bread and butter of like 50% of all content online, right? It's just like other people's reactions to current events. So it is interesting when the lens is kind of turned back on her, that she kind of feels objectified, is taking it in an insulting way, where I don't even know if everything I mean, I'm not the most like biased when I am making my videos, but I do feel like, I hope she can tell it comes from like a place of like kind of admiration of the figure that she is. Like, I feel like I get obsessed over certain women, and I get like a little hyper fixated. And it's nothing like to an extreme amount, but like I have a girls rewatch podcast where like I've been a big fan of Lena Dunham for a while. So I had a podcast where I've like really talked about Lena Dunham in such exacerbated way, and I'm doing something similar for Bethenny Frankel. And I think one of the beautiful parts of all of this is that you can take anyone's discerned lived experiences and you can kind of um, even if they are so specific, again, Lena Dunham or Bethany Frankel, where they have these really specific lived experiences, but that's somewhat what makes them relatable, right? It's even their content might not seem so unrelatable, but the humanity of everything they're doing, it's like, oh, I kind of see myself in this. And you can kind of, it's like reality TV, like you can take these small, unmeaningful moments and really discern meaning from them. And that's, I think, the beauty of humanity and even internet itself.
Well, that's kind of what I think all of us are loving about your content. First of all, your delivery is chef's kiss.
Thank
It's
you.
fast, it's concise, it feels very deliberate and researched and smart. It's very smart. It's very New Yorker magazine. I will tell you, I just love the way it's very Sandra Bernhardt, where it's this
That's very
droll, and she's a genius,
brilliant. Brilliant.
brilliant woman, brilliant comedian. Sometimes she talks and I scurry away from what she's talking about because it's so brilliantly delivered.
Mhm.
And I think that you have that very droll, just way of delivering what she does that makes it more brilliant, that makes it more interesting. Like you're like, today she did this, she talked about chicken salad, she, like unate a cake pop or something. Like you just go through it and it's mesmerizing the way that you're like, someone must have died in the family. She only posted 8 times today. And it just takes something that is such a part of our culture and you wrap it up in this package. And I think that when you talk about her doing it, it gives me, anyways, a mirror of, oh shit, do I do that? Oh shit, did I post 32 times? Am I in alignment with the insanity that is? And it also made me look at, and you can tell me if I'm wrong on all this stuff that I'm been watching about you. It also made me look at it and just say, like, she's a multimillionaire. She's made millions and millions of dollars off of this skinny girl brand, right? And she's going and she's doing content on makeup and skincare. What are you doing? Are we your friends? Are you bored? Like what's going on in your house that you're posting 10 times a day, everything that you eat and everything that you see and every date you go on? It's kind of amazing to watch and then you dissecting, and maybe that's her bitch here is you're pointing out, stop telling me I posted 10 times today because I have to.
Right. I mean, I don't think it's actually. I feel like whatever anyone wants to do with their life, as long as you're not like harming others, like it is truly not.
Yeah.
It's not my business to ask you to stop because I enjoy Bethany posting 10 times a day. I've been able to make content around Bethany posting 10 times a day.
Brilliant content. Yes.
Thank you. Um, I think part of it is that she just truly like lives in this COVID mentality where we were so like just like alone and we want to like discern meaning from everything we were doing or everything like you could really like extrapolate on anything during COVID because there was no time to like there was so much time to just think about everything, right? And I
Over
think she used to like
process. Yeah.
post in a similar way that a lot of people posted during COVID, especially like when we first like started getting these big TikTokers where they just were posting like 10 times a day, throwing it out into the algorithm, weren't so like discerning about like what should be on their FYP or like on their page as maybe you see content creators are a little bit more methodical today, right? She still like lives in this way where it's like idea comes to my mind, I can vlog this, I can capture this, I can sell this. And I think she's like lonely too,
I was
right?
going to say, do you think that this is a byproduct of connecting to, like,
Mm,
you and I can go to the store and
right.
we're unbothered by it. We just go to the store and it's no big deal and we can talk to people and no one asks us to take our photo with their, us and or whatever yet. And she maybe doesn't have that same anonymous experience of just existing on the planet and connecting with, people in the outside world. Maybe this is her way of connecting with us 10 times a day.
Right. I think she genuinely likes like just I mean, A, attention, but B, just like kind of like this human interaction. Right. She's moving to Miami recently.
Yeah.
And she talks about in her videos that she felt very isolated in Greenwich, Connecticut, that it was like all she really had was her team around her. She thought it'd be a much easier commute for her to go to New York City. And now she's in Miami and a lot of her closer friends are there. And like I wish the best for the woman.
Of course.
Um, but it's just like it's from I feels like it comes from a place of loneliness because I mean, isn't attention just such a weird thing, right? Where it's like she's getting so much admiration online. Like people really in her comments try to lift her up so much. And I think when you get to a certain level of celebrity, like it's hard to discern like what is attention and like what is real human interaction that you're receiving.
Mhm.
Um, and you make a good point. Like she's even isolated in public places now because of her celebrity status, but she's not like at a level of celebrity where she also gets to like be part of these like grander communities that like these really A-list celebrities are like they're all like in events together or like they are doing production in movies. Like she is her own entity at her own level of fame. She's just like she is the entity that is Bethenny Frankel, which is the Bethenny Frankel business. Like um, and I think that that's just like she's created such a world for herself, but also that world is really isolated her from the rest of the world.
And it's weird, like as we're talking about it, it's almost like you said, it's like this spinning
Mhm.
around. So like, and then she will try to connect with us with, she's just sitting there eating, chewing, talking about like the most mundane, zero makeup on, right? Like
Right.
just coming in hot, coming in raw, right? But at the same time, putting about $100 worth of caviar on her scooped out bagel while she's talking about this, actor or, very wealthy person that she used to date. So she really does swim in and out of I'm wealthy,
Right.
I'm normal. I shop at Walgreens, I shop at TJ Maxx. This bag is, I've got oodles and oodles of Chanel bags. So it's like she really does push the envelope of being normal and being wealthy and
Mhm.
hating celebrity, but yet made all of her money from the Real Housewives, but now it's canceling. So that's kind of like you said, the biggest smile on her face. So she really is this like where are you? But where are any of us? Like we're none of
Right.
us are one lane highways, and she's all over the place. I think that it's like this is who I am, this is where I am, but I also want to like tell you that the best, under eye concealer is $3.99 at Walgreens, and I shop at TJ Maxx, and I'm in a World War IV with Chanel. Right? Like she's kind of an interesting character in that way with a very traumatic childhood. But back to you, when you said like you got kind of like focused on Lena Dunham.
Mhm.
What is that? Why do you feel that you kind of
Yeah.
hyper focus on women?
I just really like there's so many women I idolize. I think there's like a real humanity that like women are able to tap into that a lot of men truly struggle with when it comes to like writing and their art. So just like from female musicians to females actors, I think it's like a lot of gay men like idolize so many women. And I think I'm also part of that, but I also feel like I'm someone who like likes to do my research on things as well. So it's kind of like fun to go down a rabbit hole. Like everyone has an interest. And I've been like a very always like people oriented in my whole life. And when it comes to people, like I'm just more women oriented. Um, I think women are just more interesting and cooler and fun. So it's just like right, it's these people that like have really built these worlds for themselves and have very interesting brains. Um, and it's like what isn't captivating about that, right? I mean, Lena Dunham is an example. Like I think the iota of like her starting girls and from the iota of like her starting girls and like her writing all these like really meaningful pieces of material to a lot of people. Like I live in Brooklyn right now. Like these are like almost like formative texts for a lot of people I know. Like, today is her birthday, and like so many people I know like posted on their Instagram stories being like, "Can't explain how much this woman's writing has meant to me." Like And like, yeah, I feel so similarly to that. I mean, there's some works where I'm like, it's also fun for me to be such a fan that I can like be discerning between stuff that I enjoy of hers and stuff that I don't, and understand why these are things that I really enjoy about her and why these are like medias that she's produced that I don't care about as much. And it only comes from, I think, a level of like super fandom
Yeah.
where you have to like have so much context in order to truly understand like every single level of why you are enjoying something and not enjoying it. And I think that's like the similar thing
Yeah.
with Bethany. Like I remember just like I've been a big fan of her for actually truly a while. Wasn't even a fan of Real Housewives, like just a fan of her TikTok account since
Okay. So
then.
you weren't a Housewives person when
I
she was
like
on.
Housewives. I'm more into it recently, but actually like I'm from the New York area, Westchester, and I think she's always been like a demigod of sorts in the area. Like she's always been like very known. Like Skinny Girl, for some reason, like that specific like brand has always like been so seared in my mind. It's like somewhat comical, but also very like interesting branding. She was one of the first, I honestly think, like Skinny Girl in today's zeitgeist feels like old fashioned, and like it doesn't necessarily mean exactly what it meant when it first came out. But if you think about like the time and place that it did come out, like that was a really discerning brand. Like every brand before that was Heinz or
Yeah.
Land O'Lakes. Like they weren't interesting. They didn't necessarily have brand personas in the same way. The only one you could really say is Martha Stewart, but that's like a person forward brand. Where Skinny Girl is connected to Bethany Frankel, but also it's a mentality of like Skinny Girl. It's a brand that really connected to a specific emotion and feeling and was zeitgeisty. And I don't think I think it was one of the first zeitgeisty brands we ever saw. And to me, that was always so interesting. It like, I don't know, I don't even know how this is gonna make sense, but to me, Skinny Girl always felt like Hannah Montana for some reason. It was just like that level of like, it was like something I thought was so cool and
The
interesting
other
at
side of the coin.
the time.
The other
Right.
side of the Bethany Frankel coin.
Yeah.
Literally. Do you think because you're a New Yorker and because I mean, she was like she said, she was selling basically brand muffins out of the trunk of her
Mhm.
car. And now she's a multi-millionaire. You know, she's got jeans and I mean, she's everywhere. Like
Right.
she did it. She did it. Like look, if you look at all of those girls that started on the New York Housewives, she's I would have to say probably one of the wealthiest at the end of the day, like,
I think it is
especially
like the wealthiest.
yeah, like, from selling and, you know, she
Self-made
was
it.
in yeah, self-made from a studio apartment and brand muffins that no one showed up to buy at a grocery store. I remember that episode like it was yesterday. I'm a huge Housewives fan. And, do you think there's a part of that that you look at and you go, "Uh-huh, okay, I like it. I could do that." Like, a little bit like you said, you're not sure if you're a fan or what, but, like, there's gotta be some fandom of looking at, like, a fellow New Yorker that went from the brand muffins to, you know, almost a billionaire probably.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I don't know if she's close to being a billionaire or not. I think she has a good amount of money. I don't know if she's
A
close to billionaire status.
multimillionaire. I'll take
Multi-million,
it.
sure. I don't know if I necessarily ever want to sell brand muffins out of the back of a car and then build an empire from that, but it does sound beautiful. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's something like interesting about it. I also part of it is, and I wonder if this is true or not for me, but I do think it is that I'm also Jewish, and I feel like she's like it's not that I care about the Jewish religion so much, but she's very like Jewish iconography, like like culturally, like the way she
Yeah.
talks and acts. Um,
Fast tongue,
yeah,
fast thinker, very
exactly.
witty. I mean, to me, I think to date, she's probably one of the quickest wit housewives in the history of the housewife, um, everything, you know, Bravo universe. She's the fastest. And I think that's why they wanted to give her a talk show, even though that didn't work out. She's good at social media.
Yeah.
It's a perfect place for her to land. I almost feel like we shouldn't air this because I don't want her to think that you don't hate her and obsessed with her. I don't want to blow your cover because
It's okay.
there is a part of this that is more interesting that she doesn't get that you are kind of I don't know, there for it. Like you're there
No, I'm
for it.
so there for it. I mean, but also I do like not there's part of her that I don't love, right? I don't like how like consumerist she is, and she's very like hypocritical which again, we made that point in the beginning where, but it's also like in her content, like there's parts of it where she'll say one thing. Like I remember this other day, she was making a video about hoarders and how disgusting she thought hoarders was. And then the next video, like you see her open like 3 boxes worth of products. And you go, well, that's interesting, only because you have the space for it. You otherwise in any other universe you would be a hoarder because you have so many material goods, right? So what is so different from you and the person you just put down 10 seconds ago? I don't love that. I think part of her, either way that you like fall politically, like there's something very like Trumpian about her where she's very like grandiose in the way she speaks and matter of fact. And I don't necessarily think I'm the biggest fan of that. But the thing at the end of
Like,
every
you should listen to me. You should listen to me because I know. You should listen to
exactly.
me because I know. And I know, and so you should listen to me. And that's the end of the that's the, that's the end of the story. No, it's
Literally.
true. It's like, this is the brand you need to wear. Oh, and by the
Mhm.
way, right now we're buying bags. And I'm going to tell you next week to stop buying bags. And this week we're at the Real Real, and next week we're not doing the Real Real. Like, and it is. It's very what is it? Authoritarian. Like, you
Yeah,
should do it because she's been through it and she knows more than you do, and she has a lot of money, and that's kind of where I think she started this whole social media thing. Was, remember, I can spend thousands of dollars on face skin care,
right.
and so I'm going to tell you the best skincare because I could spend $1,000 on a moisturizer, or I can spend $5 at Walgreens. And because I can do both of those, I'm the perfect person to tell you what's good.
Right. Yeah, it's very true.
Like,
I
that's
mean,
kind of where this whole thing came from. Is I have so much money, I can tell you what the right thing and the wrong thing is to do because I can do anything. And
right.
so I know the difference between good, bad, and ugly, because you might be broke and think you have to buy L'Oreal, but I'm here to tell you I'm not broke and I'm still telling you to buy L'Oreal. So it does come from that authoritarian, because I have so much money, I know more than
Right.
you.
And I do think it's a byproduct of social media, right? I think social media really rewards those that speaks in like again, like grandiose, matter of fact ways, like definitive statements. And we see this all the time on Twitter. Elon Musk's example is like people that were maybe kind of doing it like post ironically but now have like truly fallen to personas they've built for themselves. So even whoever Bethenny Frankel started off on TikTok and like where the line is, like I think the line is now so blurred and between who she is in real life and who she posts on TikTok because she's like really just like constantly in this kind of like agitated state.
Yeah, and she's kind of pulling the Elton John card recently. I don't know if you've noticed that, where she's creating now with like the Alex Earls. She's trying to get with some of
Mm.
these younger creators. I don't know if, I mean, like, when you
Yeah,
look at like Elton John, like, he's works with like a myriad of younger creators, singers, songwriters, and stuff like that. Not that there's anything wrong with this. It's
no, yeah,
brilliant. I mean, Sinatra did this. Elton John's doing this. I mean, there's a ton of people that have done like duet type situations to bring in the younger group, and then the younger group is bringing. It's brilliant, and it's how it should be done. But are you noticing, someone like, she's very wise, she's very crafty, Bethenny is. And so, like, this new kind of wanting to work with Alex Earl and going out to dinner with her, this, that, and the other. I mean, it's definitely on purpose. Or do you think it's just because she's moving to Miami?
That's a good question. I mean, yeah, it's of course on purpose. I mean, you don't see her really going out to dinner that many times with friends, and I feel like when she does, she's like now being strategic about it, right? Where she's kind of living her life kind of for the internet. And I do think part of it is like what we're talking about, like she kind of has created her own QVC style business. And I think BethanyFrankel.com, which is like her new website, is very
Is it
QVC
really?
style. I believe I could
Oh,
be
wow.
off but like it's very like she's become very like her brand. She understands it's now like reviewing and then getting commission from selling products, and like a lot of the times, even when those products aren't branded or like aren't considered ads on TikTok, I'm sure she's getting some money somehow from it.
Yeah.
Um, so I think she's like a QVC creator slash personality and has kind of found this like interesting niche for herself. But when it comes to actually being friends with Alex Earl, I think it's like part of the brand. Like Alex Earl is the number one person at like selling out products, and
Yeah.
I think she knows that, and she's constantly partnering with these 20 somethings, and I think she like idolizes the youth in that manner. Where it's like you're not seeing her hang out with like influential older people so often. It's always
Yeah.
someone who's much younger.
Yeah, and now you kind of have tiptoed over into Ramona Singer, which I'm here for all of it. I honestly wish we would go back to that, Housewives. I mean, the Countess. I think the beauty too of what you're doing is you're taking someone that takes themselves oddly seriously unserious and making it seriously unserious.
Mhm.
I mean, the layers of what is going on in all of this. It's like I don't take myself seriously, however, comma, and then you know what I mean. And so it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's just for fun, and it's just like, however, and so when you look at what's going on here, I mean, like my husband said the other day, he's like, "Have you seen these Countess de Lesseps shows? They're sold
Sold
out."
out and expensive.
Sold out, and they're expensive, and he's like, "And have you seen what she's doing on stage? It's wild. It's crazy shit. It's shit that like no one would ever do, and she just takes herself as serious as a heart attack, or does she?" I think Sonya's the only one who's just completely wacky as shit, doesn't give a shit, knows she's nuts, tits out kind of mentality, and but maybe does she take her wackiness seriously? Like all of the layers of this are just giving life. Who is Ramona your next person? Is she even on TikTok? Like, would it be worthwhile?
No, I that one video was mostly kind of
It was
it's just
back to Bethenny. I mean, it was Ramona by way of Bethenny and Bethenny by
right.
way of
Well,
Marona.
she
Marona.
posted a video that I just found, like, extremely upsetting or
Mm.
photo on Instagram, she took it down, but the photo was this man called Daniel Penny who it doesn't it's, of course, like, a very, tough situation, but this man was having a homeless man in New York City was having, an episode on the subway, and he did threaten a woman.
Oh,
So
okay.
Daniel Penny, who's ex-Marine, strangled him for 15 minutes,
Oh.
depending on the accounts you listen to, and the man unfortunately passed away, and Ramona was at a gala celebrating him.
Oh, that's right. That was what the video was about. I'm sorry. You're
Yeah.
right.
No,
Yes.
no, it's fine. It just I found that very, like even if it was fully self-defense, it's like, I don't understand, like, celebrating someone who unalives someone, right? It's
Right.
like
Unless you're saving a child or like, right. Unless you're like
exactly.
saving someone's life by
I
way
live
of.
in New York. I get threatened on a daily basis. It's like I'm a homeless person in like I'm once a month. Someone's like cross checking me with their body in like a threatening way. It's like that is a big part of living here. But it's just like if we unalived everyone that did that, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, you just kinda gotta roll with the punches. My daughter,
Right.
she lives in the city, I'm here in Chicagoland, and she lives in the city, and she's just like, "Yeah, this person, like" they might be, like, fighting and fighting and fighting on the train,
Right.
like, verbally, but it's like, "Get off the train, we're gonna end this." Like, she's like and then they are very conscientious that there's kids on the train with us, so we're gonna get off the train and beat the hell or stab each other. It's like, what? Okay, well, at least you're doing that. Do you think that you're gonna stay with Bethenny? I mean, I think that this is a new thing that you almost it's like a recap. Like, I don't even
Yeah.
know how we would live without the recap of what you're doing here because I mean, and the fact that she's deleting videos, I didn't even know that was a thing. I don't think I've ever deleted a video in my life, and you're pointing this out. I think all of us are missing that she's deleting these videos because who's going back? No one's going to look at the full account. But how did you figure all this shit out?
Yeah, so I'm actually in a precarious situation right now. My TikToks actually won't appear on FYP for the last 2 days because my account has been reported as, like, misrepresenting myself as a different individual organization, which is obviously not the case.
Yeah,
So I do think Bethany has, put a hit out on my account of sorts, which
possible. Yeah.
I'm trying to appeal currently. So I don't even know if I can even do the recaps anymore, unfortunately. I don't even know if I can
Mm.
post on TikTok, but hopefully this will all like resume itself. I do think like in the future I have to be a bit more conscientious about how I'm posting about Bethany. Because I don't have any plans on stopping. But when it comes to content, like I posting for Bethany is kind of a newer thing. It's only been going on for like 2 months right now.
Yeah.
But every day I make sure to like post twice a day and only one of the videos be about Bethany because I refuse to let myself become like fully obsessed with her and like have everything I do fully be based around her. But I absolutely am gonna never stop.
Good, because I'm like, well, I know you can be like, there's this one housewife, or there's a real housewife, or there's this housewife that moved from Connecticut to Miami. Like, you could, she's probably like in my mind's eye. I'm like, he's making money, or his account is about me, so he's misrepresenting his own original content because it's my
I'm not
content.
monetized.
Yeah, well, you should.
I know I should, but I'm not. So I'm not even making any money from this.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm monetized anymore. I forget.
It's like actually hard to do.
As soon as you monetize yourself, they slow your videos down. It's a complete bitch. Like the only ones that go viral, I feel like for me are under a minute. Like it's such
They actually don't like it doesn't seem like anyone cares about like they over the minute stuff, they're like over now.
yeah.
I
People
know.
have zero attention span. Like we're down to 7-second attention spans at this point. I swear. It's like so bad. So you do have your own podcast. How, when, where, how, who's your co-host? What are you talking about these days?
Good question. So right now, it was originally a Girls Rewatch podcast, which is a show that Lena Dunham wrote in 2012 to 2016, which is about like a friend group in New York City as they graduate college and deal with like new adolescents. So we took that similar we're like, what other shows kind of encompass similar ideas? So right now on the same podcast, we're rewatching Broad City, but as we speak, there's like a million new shows coming out with actually a similar premise. There's a show called Adults that's a premiering on FX at the end of the month that we'll be talking about on the podcast. And my co-host is actually my friend I met at an open mic named Amelia Rithaler.
She's
And
adorable, by the way. I just saw her on your
so cute.
Instagram page.
She's the cutest girl ever. Love
She's
her
so
so
sweet.
much.
I could just tell her she's so cute.
And it's been fun. Like it's been a real I think I didn't know how much work a podcast truly was until we started. And we like it's been really a very like it's been a wealth of experiences, but it's also been like a real like big time commitment that I didn't necessarily understand before I started. But I'm thankful for our listeners and I love talking about TV. It's my favorite thing to do. So I get what I love to do in this earth.
And you're also a comedian. You just had a show
Mhm.
in DC at the beginning of the month. So, being a comedian, and I know, well, at least your video said that you do write what you are posting, especially with regard to Bethenny. Like you have to put your thoughts together. You have, like I said, a very awesome Sandra Bernhardt New York delivery that I love, fast, furious, and droll. Do you see yourself as a writer, and where do you see yourself going from here? More comedy, more
Mhm.
writing? What's your 5-year plan, so to speak?
Good question. So for me personally, I would love to keep expanding on my podcast. I love to keep building my social media presence. So it's interesting. I one time heard that writing is kind of just like, guess getting the idea out and developing it, and like sometimes it's just like verbal processing. So when making like a Bethany Frankel TikTok, sometimes I'll be walking around like my neighborhood for 45 minutes or it doesn't usually take me 45 minutes to film, but like 25 minutes. And I'll be like saying the lines out loud to myself, like improving them, understanding the structure. And I think doing live comedy has been truly so informative and helping me understand like what is a joke, what is funny, like what are words that people really attach themselves to. And I think TikTok is actually a similar process as well, where it's like you're constantly trying to find like patterns, words, and ideas that people are like that are novel for people, words that are like interesting to hear, and like a pattern of speaking like I do to Bethany Frankel videos. Like you find these like different it's like pattern recognition, idea generation, and stand up is a very similar process as well. So I think for the next 5 years, I again would love to build my social media presence. When it comes to writing, I've like written pilots before. I do write, and I'd love to continue to be able to write. I am dyslexic, so again, it's like I'm actually like it's never something I thought I could actually do. So as I get better at it, it's like a very like it's like this belief that I had about myself that I'm contradicting and it feels good, but also I
Yeah.
have those like small voices in my head that just are always like make me nervous and worried. And I grew up like very, I wouldn't say like illiterate, but it took me like a very long time to catch up academically. Like probably not until college that I feel truly caught up.
I think
Uh,
a lot of kids these days are that way. I really do. I think it clicks much later these days because I think the concepts that y'all are learning from when I was in school, the concepts are broader. They're deeper. They're not like I learned spelling, I learned math, and that was it. Whereas now with Common Core and all these different ways of thinking, learning to think, it's
right,
very deep, it's very layered, and I think it takes a lot longer. I mean, they could give me 50 words. I learned to spell those. I regurgitated that on
right.
Wednesday for a practice, final test on Friday, and you get a good grade. And that's it. That is cut and paste, and you're done. You've learned it. Whereas now they teach kids to think and reason and pull ideas from chapters and all this other stuff. I just think that it takes longer for that type of prefrontal cortex click to happen. So, you know, and every time I go to any sort of conference, I have 2 younger kids and 2 older, but the younger kids, I just tell the teachers and all the team every single time is always, I just want my kids to still love learning.
Hmm.
And so I'm not gonna sit there and belabor that they have a C or a different grade or a better grade or what. I just want them to love learning because I
Oh,
think it does click later for all kids. I really do. Like, so don't beat yourself up because I'm 52 and I'm still learning every single day. So I made a very viral video one time and it was, there's no end game, 20-year-olds. There's no end game. You're not getting anywhere. You're not going to get someplace all of a
yeah.
sudden and be like, I got here. It's over. Because as soon as you get there, you're going to want the next thing. And
Mm.
so there's no end game and you're not getting someplace that you're going to get to and then feel satisfied because you're just going to move the goalpost. Celebrate the goal. Trust me, celebrate your goal attainment, but do not keep moving that goalpost until you've celebrated it. And then you're going to move it anyways. And then you're going to want the next thing. And then you're going to want the next thing. And that's exactly, I tell people all the time, as soon as the laundry is done, meaning as soon as you're like, it's finished, that's when you die. So you never want the laundry to be done. There's always some asshole out there in your family getting ready to take off a dirty sock. Like the laundry's never done. And so, what you're doing is going to grow legs and it's going to get bigger and it's going to be you're right now the way I feel what you're doing, it's like you're stretching. I feel like you're stretching your imagination, you're stretching the way you talk to people, you're stretching the way that you interact with what you see out in the world. And have you ever considered, I don't know, it just hit me when we are here. Have you ever considered like Saturday Night Live? Have you tried out?
I've not tried out for Saturday Night. I mean, of course, I think it's a lot of comedians' goals to do Saturday Night Live, but if it feels very that's like an all assuming like consuming project when you get into it. And I have a good amount of friends that are on it, or are doing it right now. And like it's definitely like bountiful for them and they really enjoy it. But I don't know. I guess the thing is I know so many of I know it so personally now, just like based off like my relationships that it's like, yes, if it was ever an opportunity, I'd want to participate in it, but I don't think it's necessarily the thing I'm like actively pursuing after.
Yeah, because you also, I mean, your fashion sense is 10 out of 10. Like I
Oh,
love I know, I love that one outfit that you put together in front of the train. I was like, what just happened in that outfit?
nice.
And also you're a big um proponent of, which seems stupid that you have to be, support human rights, but that's also a big focus of yours. It's not just all fun and games making fun of Bethany Frankel's video posts, that you actually have some pretty important causes that you stand behind. So how, outside of being maybe a member of the LGBTQ plus community, how has that woven itself through your life, and where is that coming from outside of personal experience?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like I've always been very like pro environment, and like even since like fifth grade. Like I think just like learning about global warming, something always just like really struck with me. And I remember being in like middle school, and on Earth Day, I made everyone observe it by like shutting the lights off, and encouraged recycling at my middle school. Like it's just something I always felt like very impassioned by as a child. And then that kind of persisted, and in college I studied environmental science. But I've honestly like I hate to say this, but there's some like dread as an individual I feel around like global warming, that it's something I've like truly had to like take emotional space from being worried about, because it's just like I don't even know how to like activate myself into conversation. It's like perpetuate the I mean, it's something I still very much believe in, but I have no idea how to like I've tried content in the past to like help. I don't know how to like improve the environment, like just like get like be politically aware. But right now I'm kind of just like trying to listen more and then understand, and then hopefully one day I can really like participate in the conversation again, because I would like to. But when it comes to actual things that I can participate in now that I feel comfortable talking about, it's definitely like trans people. Specifically, like just a ton of trans friends living in Brooklyn, and I just think they're the most like extraordinary group of people we have. Like they're all every single trans person I meet is like such a specific individual, and like in a way that I truly always enjoyed her. Honestly, I think it's so interesting that some of the smartest people I know on earth are trans people, like non-binary trans people. And and it's such like a weird misconception that people don't often think trans people are smart, especially online. I think there's like a lot of discourse about like blue hair baristas. I'm like, I guess meet these like really hyper intelligent um trans people every day, and it's just something I really am just such a advocate of. It's just like normalizing having trans people in one's life.
It's when you're talking about this and watching kind of everything that I'm viewing about you in this very short conversation outside of social media, what I'm kind of hearing is, you're pretty anti-bully, which sounds stupid, who's not anti-bully, but I
Yeah.
it feels a little deeper than that when I'm listening to you talk, about women in general, or maybe that authoritarian commentary, and the trans community, which is probably one of the most underserved and targeted communities that are affected
Yeah.
right now, especially. Do you find that you maybe and also with the environment, who can't fight back, right?
Hmm.
Do you find yourself maybe to be a bit of a anti-bully activist without even realizing it, by way of
Yeah, I do think that's a very nice claim. My roommate, I actually live with like a very famous TikToker. Her name is Super Kira. She's like a redhead online who has amazing points, and it's very fun to live with someone like that. But she also is like has ADHD, and part of having ADHD is you actually have a justice sensitivity sometimes.
yeah.
I think we both have this, where if we see something like unjust in the world, it's very hard for us to be quiet. I remember this one instant, like I've been sexually assaulted in my life,
Mm.
and there's this one comedian whose TV show got like was in debate if it's be renewed or not, and this giant expose came out about them, and I made a few TikToks about it, and like people in my life were like, "Why are you speaking on this? Like this is someone that you," and it's someone I idolized for so long, um, and I like made videos, I mean, like because people were so unaware about this article and allegations against this person. And I was like, it just like it's important for people to understand like this is someone who is so championed by the queer community. And now they have these horrible allegations about them, but like no one really understands. And their TV show actually got renewed for a second season, which was just terrible to watch.
Did you
But
talk about who it is?
I I don't know if I feel comfortable. The name the person is Jordan Brian Alvarez, and the show is English teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like it was a very upsetting. I think it's like as someone who's been sexually assaulted, and also like to like hear that like someone is getting away with something like that, it's like upsetting to see, especially because I still like truly enjoy so much of his work that it just like it's really upsetting to see someone you've idolized for so long do
Well, I
something.
think that sometimes when we go through, the Mick Jagger and,
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, like, how do we separate the actor, the artist, I should say, from the crime, right? Like Woody Allen, like how do you separate the artist from the crime and or the criminal and or the assaulter, etc. I think it really is difficult. Like when do we cancel? When do we stop listening? When do we stop playing their music? When do we turn off their shows? And it is tough, it's a little easier when they're dead. But when they're still alive and they're still walking around, being a predator or, running the country, like whatever, like however you want to see it. It is really tough to separate those two factions. Like, do we cancel the whole person? Do we stop playing Rolling Stones songs because, they were dating 13-year-olds, whatever. So yeah, and I think that when you do see it, when you do experience it yourself, it creates that wound inside of us that is very sensitive to the touch, and the touch is usually seeing that sort of abuse out in the real world. It makes it personal, even if it wasn't against you. It makes it very personal. When you were talking about the environment, I kind of saw in my head you doing, and today we, Exxon dumped 32 barrels of oil into the ground, like almost kind of doing a very, this is what happened today in the environment that none of us gave a shit about, but, you will. And I think about that often. I don't know if you've ever seen, it's a documentary on Netflix. And in the documentary, they're going, and it's by a Ford plant, I'm going to say around New York somewhere. And these kids were sliding down this water area, but they were actually sliding down like paint. And it was paint from the car. I'll email it to you if I find it. And what had happened is they were just dumping paint from this automobile plant, and the trees were starting to grow with yellow and blue and green paint, all swirled in the mud, all swirled now in the trees. And these kids were all getting cancer. And I'm from the Cleveland, Ohio area. And my dad, who's 77 now, he was telling me when he used to be in the Black River. And if you know anything about Cleveland, the whole damn river caught on fire. The Cuyahoga River literally caught on fire. And he told me, because he lived by the Black River outside of Cleveland, that he would take a boat. He had a house on the lake, and there would be fish with sores and tumors, and you would never fish Lake Erie. Like you just did not, you could fish it, but you throw it back. And I think what so many people are failing to recognize is, first of all, there's been a psychological study done that when you're a billionaire, you start to kind of lose it a little bit. You get the God complex. You don't really think about human beings. And a lot of times it's a study. I'm not making this up. And these companies without regulations for our environment, they change the flow of a river in Flint, Michigan. They dump paint next to schools without it being properly sealed. They leak oil from places that get in your food supply. They stop testing milk that is going out to the world. And they don't give a shit. I mean, I don't know where they live, and I don't know what they're eating, and I don't know what oxygen they're breathing, or if the dollar is more important than their grandchildren or kids eating paint. And I mean, like, what is it? What was that show with Julia Roberts?
Aaron
Brockovich.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, like, these are real situations. But that would kind of be in shit that happened today in the environment that no one paid attention to, kind of energy. I think that'd be pretty cool to mix with your other.
That. Here's my thing is, and I hate to be like this, I think no one cares.
Yeah.
It's just awful to say. Or it's like, I think you can make it in a fun, discerning way, but weirdly, the environment is such a polarizing topic. And like, even when I posted a Ramona video the other day, which was with Daniel Penny, like people were like very upset by the fact that it was like I went political at all. Later, like I don't come to this page for politics. And it's just like, and it's like, I think out of any topic on earth, environment should be the least
political.
Least political, because it's a thing that truly affects all of us. But the Koch brothers and other billionaires have like truly like tricked America into thinking that like solar power is nefarious and wind power obscures natural
Kills
beauty and
kills
kills
ducks.
birds. Yeah, it's like whatever. It's so stupid. I just like it's a no-brainer and it's so upsetting that like as a nation, it's like the one thing I truly think that like it's only beneficial for everyone. Like we could all have free electricity if we really invested correctly. And like I mean that's at the end of the day it's like economically makes sense. I mean if we look at how much cheaper solar panels gotten in the last like since 2017, I think it's
Yeah.
like 10 folds cheaper. Like it's just like exponentially growing how effective it can be, but we're getting rid of subsidies at such a absurd rate. Like I mean, even like electric cars, which was one of the great people to be great organ industries as rewarded from the Great Recession, like Obama, like creating policies, like that has been taken away. And yes, that affects
Well,
Elon.
until now, now that Musk's in the Oval Office, you never know. They might come back with electric car subsidies again and all that stuff. Who
No,
knows?
I don't think they will. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
he's not even there that much anymore. He's really taken a back seat.
Well, when he's gonna be ousted from his own, Tesla, he probably was like, wait, man overboard. So let me ask you, first of all, why'd you start posting? Because that's
Yeah,
my question. First of all, why'd you start posting in the first place and what keeps you going?
good question. I do think I like ultimately want to do comedy and stand up. Um, so I just think like as people I've truly idolized in the past, like it didn't necessarily have to go through the realm of social media in order to become comedians, but it doesn't seem like there is necessarily like the most effective way at becoming as especially as a queer person like becoming a comedian and doing stand up and like other forms of comedy without like being content first. I just don't think we like live in a world where that's a reality anymore.
Mm,
And I think I noticed this even like before my peers that like I did stand up. I've only been doing comedy for like 3 years, but like before my other peers like at open mics and stuff. So I've been posting for a while, sometimes getting traction, sometimes getting not. But I understand like how important it is like build one's audience in order to like if I want to pursue comedy and like how it does like open opportunity for oneself. So I don't necessarily know if I look at it for a means of an end because I truly love posting as well, and it's just like fun to interact with it, like with people, and it's such a myriad of topics, and I like just want to help make people laugh and like spread good messaging. So it's something I always would like to do, but like I do think it's like also a way to like help build opportunity for myself.
yeah.
Um, and so it's a little bit of both, but yeah, I also love to make people laugh to say it again.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that today, your content, Bethany's content at the end of the day, so many people's content on social media, on TikTok especially, is an escape from reality. It's an escape from the stress. It's an escape from yeah, let's talk about 17 different chicken salads and a cake pop and a scooped up bagel and caviar and like just let's talk about like nothing, and at the same time, like enjoy each other's company while we're
Oh,
doing it because we are, I mean, you're in New York, I'm in Chicagoland, and Bethany's in Miami, and we're kind of all triangulated in some weird kind of way. I I'm excited about you. I think your content's brilliant. Please
oh,
do not
I can
stop.
post again.
What'd you say?
Let's hope I'm able to post again. If they can lift my
I mean, I was just on your TikTok page.
I can post, it just won't go on FYP.
Oh,
It
how
says
do they do that?
account cannot
Oh, yeah, look at
it says
that.
cannot be recommended. Sorry, I don't know how to focus it.
That's all
But
right. I saw the big red box.
yeah, unfortunately. So I mean I can post, but it just like won't necessarily go on FYP, which whatever. I'm hoping it will I've been stressed about it, but I'm ultimately staying optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell.
That's that because the thing of it is regardless if she understands that you're like a super fan or a fan or whatever, at the end of the day, I think that it's uncomfortable to be shrunk. Like my
Right.
mom always says, don't analyze me. And it's a form of analyzing, you know what I mean? It's a form of shrinking it down and putting the mirror up, and I think that's probably she probably has her fans, mass reporting at this stage in the game, but the thing of it is you are, not fixated on her. Your identity is definitely not Bethenny Frankel. Your identity is so much more than that, and although you're on the Bethenny Frankel train right now, and we're all loving it, and I hope it never stops, to be perfectly honest with you, and I hope they get you back on. I look forward to all of your content. I so appreciate you being here. I was afraid. I'm like, oh God, what if he's like trolling me and he says he's going to be on and he's not going to show up and I'm a loser and he's not going to come on my show. But I'm
I've really had such
so
a
excited to
pleasant
meet you.
time. I think it's nice to I just like love talking with people, and I think a podcast is truly like one of the best settings to just like I mean, we were strangers before this interaction, and it's like very nice like get to like have an informed conversation with someone, especially someone so insightful like yourself. Like it really like just having like speaking with you was very like reflective for me to like understand actually like how I felt about things that I maybe hadn't said out loud before right now, but like contextualizing them with you and your insight has been like really awesome, and I really appreciate
Mm.
that.
Thank you so much. Said it here before. I think you're my 7th episode, on this. I have another TikTok. I mean, I have another podcast, Meredith with a Y, with about 200 episodes. But I was laying on the couch and, I love people. I'm very curious by nature. I get excited to like talk to you about like what makes you tick and like why are you doing this to yourself, because it is stressful. Like people don't realize it's stressful. It
Very
can be
stressful.
dangerous. I've had 2 people on that, their life has literally been put in danger by way of what they posted about,
Oh my
bad. Yeah, like, or commented on. So it can be very scary. And, but we just keep doing it, right? We just, for some
no.
reason, we want to get out there and just touch and maybe be seen. Um, if you would have told me 10 years ago that I would be doing anything that I'm doing and having, hundreds of thousands of, if not millions of followers out there in social media, I would have said that you were a crack addict. There's no way someone wants to listen to some Gen Xer. But I just had a vision, and it was like a voice in my head that says, why don't you interview people on TikTok? Like millions of people think that they're interesting. Why don't you get to know them on a longer format? And I got on my computer and I'm like, let's make TikTok famous a podcast. And so I'm really enjoying the long format of why are you doing this? A lot of people do show up as a facade, right? A character, if you will, on social media. You're obviously very, very different than you are on a 1 minute to, whatever minute video. And so like you're warm, you're genuine, you're caring. And I really do think that today I've made a brand new friend, and I'm so honored to have you on the show.
This was so fun. I really appreciate it. This is
Really,
awesome.
I really appreciate it
Oh,
too. So everybody go check out Evan Lazarus. You have a page, a link tree that's going to have all your upcoming comedy shows that you'll be doing. You're going to put them all over there so people can come watch you. If you want to have Evan down at your comedy store, he is a brilliant writer. His delivery is 10 out of 10. Just amazing comedic mind. Have him out to your comedy store or whatever, Laugh Factory, whatever is out there, because he's going to deliver. Check him out on TikTok and on Instagram at ELAZIE. But until next time, thanks for being here, my dear.
bye. Thank you.
All right. See you guys here next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the TikTok Famous Podcast with Meredith Willits. If you're loving the unfiltered stories and behind-the-scenes truths, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share the show. Until next time, let's get famous.